Okay, I guess we are live. The Video Pro asked me if I wanted to do an update, a software update, and I said no, and I said let's go live because sometimes those updates don't go smoothly, and I'm going to apologize in advance for the moire on this jacket. This silk sport coat does have some moire, but it is what it is. It is what it is. So, find this video. And I was a few seconds late just because of that warning I got on the update on the software. Wow, there's a bunch of comments in here early. Shucks beat me. Let's see. Everybody, cold, rain and snow today. Our wags. It's very nice here. Very warm here. Where's the pre-show? Hello from Denmark. Yeah, we didn't even make the normal show start time. We were a little bit late. Greetings to our friend in Denmark. Let's see, Indiana. Ryan P. Thanks, okay. Oh, Carlos is in the house. Well, maybe he can give us an update on his Day-Date 40. I'm considering to go to Indiana for the Indy 500. There you go. Let's see. I really like to see... Okay. Fernando. We know if you... Okay. Maybe we can get Chip to come to the Indy 500. Well, we'll see about all that. Spring is here. I'll tell you, it's here in Maryland. I was walking today for a couple of hours. It was 70 degrees. It was really nice. Okay, really loved watching. Okay. No show today, Mr. Yeah, I think we've got a show. It was scheduled for 5 o'clock, folks. I wasn't that late. Wasn't it scheduled for 5 o'clock? Or did I schedule this wrong? Let me know in the chat. I thought this was scheduled for 5 o'clock Eastern time. Fedora would really set that suit off, Craig. This is actually a silk sport coat. This is an Oxford. And it very comfortable, very good for this time of the year. And let's see what we got here. There's the view of the switcher and all that good stuff. There's the stunner, the spring drive stunner, keeping time like it does, just smoothing right along. That thing's just mesmerizing to look at. I really like the titanium hands. I like that brushing on those titanium hands. It's just they got it right. We're talking about super watches today, and this is one of them. This watch is hard to beat. It's been out for years. It's got a stellar reputation for being extremely robust, and it just runs. That's all it does. It just runs all the time. Super comfortable on wrist with the titanium, and I think one of the qualifications for these watches is it has to be comfortable on wrist because you have to want to wear the watch, right? It's not comfortable on wrist, you're probably not going to want to wear it, and so what good is it? What good is a wrist watch if it's not on your wrist? Here's another watch that's a finalist, and I still have to see this one in person. I did actually, I think, see one, but I didn't handle it and all that, so I really have to study one of these watches, but this is, of course, powered by the 9F quartz movement, and by all accounts, I've had a couple of folks that are subscribers talk about it that have seen it. I think one owns one and have said that it is a phenomenal watch. So it's a great size. I think it's about 39 mils and it's about 12 mils thick. So that could serve kind of as an all-arounder. And Brian P. says that hand is so smooth. Not even the camera's frame rate can fully convey to us just how smooth it is. I hear you. You have to really see it in person. Yeah, you really want to see this puppy in person because there's the slightest little pulse to it when you're looking at it there. Whereas in person, there's no pulse at all. It's just absolutely 100% smooth. But you're right, with the frame rate and all, that you can just see the slightest little hitch in the second hand. But in person, it's just absolutely totally smooth. Dapper for Saturday afternoon. I'm wearing jeans and a polo, getting ready to go out for dinner. Adam's in the house, absolutely. So here's the deal, and we're going to talk about that too, because somebody else made a comment about attire the other day, and I'm going to start wearing some polo shirts and some golf shirts and things like that when it gets hotter. I'm not going to dress like this all the time, folks. I can tell you that right now. When it starts getting hot, I'm not going to be wearing a sport coat. So you don't always have to be wearing a sport coat or a suit or whatever. You can wear a nice polo shirt, a nice golf shirt from a nice golf club or something like that. And I would wear Bill's khakis, and that's what I do wear. I'll wear jeans if I'm going out to the rodeo, out to the J Bar W Ranch, going out to the rodeo. I'll wear jeans with some nice Lucchese crocodile boots or something like that. Nice Resistol hat or Stetson or something. You know, but other than that, or if I'm riding a motorcycle or something like that, I'll wear jeans. But other than that, in a casual situation, I would highly recommend getting some Bill's khakis. Bill's khakis. They are very comfortable, and they take it up a notch, especially if you have a really nice belt on them, like a nice alligator belt, something like that. Bill's khakis. Think about that. Made in the United States of America. Craig, why not consider a Day-Date 36 and that GS 9F GMT as a 2-watch rotation? Brian P. Well, if I'm going to stay with a 2-watch rotation, I can just stay with this watch. I don't have to. See, the only reason to go with that watch is because it's thin enough to wear under a dress cuff. And so it could theoretically be a 1-watch rotation. That's the idea there. If I get a Day-Date 36, that could be a 1-watch rotation. Probably. That could just be a 1-watch rotation. So that would be a possibility. That is on the short list, the Day-Date 36. Let's see here. Trader Boy says, as a former Nordstrom All-Star, says, you are fine, bespoke gentleman. This tie came from Nordstrom. Look, you think I'm joking, huh? Look here. This tie came from Nordstrom. Back in the day, okay? And they guarantee everything. They'll take anything back if it doesn't hold up. You can return it to Nordstrom and they'll give you your money back or give you an exchange. That used to always be their policy. I'm looking for a two-tone watch, Rolex GMT Tudor. Yeah, I'd pass on the Tudor. Two-tone. A Rolex GMT, two-tone GMT, wouldn't be a bad move. Have you thought about a turnograph? I think a turnograph is a cool piece, but if you need the dual time zone, if you travel a lot through different time zones, the GMT would definitely be the way to go. But if you need something to get underneath that cuff, think about that GS. It's a lot less money, and it's going to be very rugged for traveling. It's going to be very low maintenance. Just every 3 years, change that battery out, and it's going to be a really, really accurate watch. So there's something to be said about that. I'm a big fan of the 9F movement. I'm going to come right out and say that. A big fan of a 9F movement. Golf shirts. I call them football coach shirts are my favorites because they're collared for business casual and are vented like fitness shirts to help wick away the sweat. I wear them for exercise. Brian P. And you can get some of them that are decent looking shirts. I'll be wearing some of those. So we'll talk about those as time marches forward. You need an 18 karat gold watch. Looks spectacular. Our wags in the house, I can't disagree with him on that. I can't disagree with him on that. That's on the short list for sure. If GS made that GMT watch in 18 karat gold, would you spring for it? Hey, depends on the price. Depends on the price, but very possibly. It'd be pretty cool. Yeah, it'd be stunning. Tudor two-tone watches are gold capped over steel, so you're not getting true Rolex for your money. Yeah, I would pass on the Tudors. I'd just kind of hold off on the Tudors completely. Let's go back to Chrono 24 and look at what's on my short list. And let me know in the chat what you guys think is the perfect super watch. A super watch here. And to be a super watch, I think it has to be flexible enough to be used in almost all occasions. It has to be something you could wear almost all the time. It has to be rugged. It has to be timeless styling so that you can wear it 10 years ago, 10 years from now, and it doesn't make any difference. It's still hitting on all cylinders, right? So very timeless, classic design. Let me know in the chat what you think. If GS made that GMT, okay, what I said, okay, we already talked about that. Good evening, gents. ID guy in the house. All right, let me see here. I'm going to see if there's any of these GMTs on Chrono 24. They haven't been around that long. So I'm going to see if there's any on Chrono 24. Where's the model on this? And of course they don't have it. All right, so I'm going to go back to my video here. If I had to choose just one watch as my only watch forever, it would be Explorer 39. Carlos, I think your DATE 40 could fit the bill too, though. That DATE 40 is a workhorse. So there's something to be said about that. But yeah, the Explorer 39, definitely an interesting piece. Okay, we're going to hear ourselves here for a second because I'm going to the video. I know we didn't hear ourselves. Okay, that's good. All right, so I'm going to find out if this SBGN005 is on Chrono 24. Give me a second here to see if there's one here. Looks like there is. Okay, looks like there is right here. It looks like it's in the UK. Let's see what this one is. I guess that's got the blue dial. I think it's because the photo's no good. Yeah, the photo's just making it look dark. But that's the watch for $3,037. And let's see what else is going on here. Yeah, just a few photos. Original box, original papers. And let's see what else they say here. Yeah, 39 millimeter, 12.1 mils thick. What, Carlos, what's the thickness of the Explorer 39? How thick is that? Sometimes I travel to not very safe places to wear the DATE. I hear you. Only got one watch. It's a Rolex Explorer 42 millimeter black. Fits perfect to my 8-inch wrist. Wow. Okay. All right. That'll work. Okay, so I've added this to my list on Chrono 24. See, here's the deal. I really like the lugs on this. Let's see if we can, guess we can't zoom in. I like the lugs. I like the crown. I like the crown guards. I like the shape of the case in general. Very classic looking, and I like the fact that it's got lume on the hands. Most of the Grand Seikos don't. It's got a loomed dial and lume on the hands. That's going to help with legibility. I think it's going to be pretty legible. I'm going to have to see one in person to make sure. It's probably not going to be as legible as my diver because the hands aren't as thick, aren't as big. But it should be rather legible. So that's a finalist right there, I say. I think so, 12. So 12 millimeters. Yeah, so that you could wear that in any kind of a situation. So it's about the same thickness as your Date 840. Correct, Carlos? Carlos, let us know in the chat, are you available to call in and give us a report from the field? Let me know if you can call in on Skype and give us a report. We always like to have live reports from folks with Date 840s. ID guy, it's a very clean watch. Carlos, yes. Okay, so Carlos, go ahead and call me on Skype. And we can take a look at both watches and kind of see what's going on with all that. And I'll get my headset on here so when you call in, I'll be able to answer it. Take your time and just call whenever is good for you. We always like to get live reports. Oops. From the field. Oh, the 50 fathoms. Folks are talking about the 50 fathoms. Yeah. That's the original. That's what the Rolex copied, the 50 fathoms. Rolex Submariner is an homage to the 50 fathoms. So there's that. I like when everybody accuses other brands of like copying Rolex, and Rolex did the biggest copy of them all when they copied the 50 fathoms. So there's that. And I think other folks had divers watches too around the same time, a little bit before the Submariner came out. Let me know in the chat what other watches you guys think would qualify as super watches, and we will pull them up on Chrono 24 and critique them. The other watch is the Oyster Perpetual. That's a really interesting watch. Just a straight up Oyster Perpetual. While we're waiting for Carlos to call in, let me search an Oyster Perpetual. Rolex Oyster Perpetual. Oh, there's a 34 mil with a green dial. I don't think I want to go down to a 34 mil. Some people swear by them and say they look great. Black with a pink bar. What are they talking about there? Not sure what they're talking about. Oh, yeah, the pink. That's interesting. Huh. And see, that's got the newer clasp, the milled clasp. Never seen one with the pink on it. I'm going to go ahead and add that just for fun. Add that to the watch list. Let's see what else we got here. Okay, we got Carlos calling in. Okay, there we go. And Carlos, you're gonna have to turn your make sure you've got your camera turned on.
Uh-huh.
And then turn it horizontal. Yeah, perfect. That's perfect. Good picture's nice and clear.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got both the
I had
watches?
a tripod. I had a tripod.
Oh, well, there you go. You're getting
Then
sophisticated.
I had it in a drawer, and I remember of it.
Okay. All right. So now, which watch do you have on your wrist?
Uh, the truth is that since I purchased it, I only wear this watch.
The Day-Date 40. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
the
don't
day.
blame you. Now, do you find that it's very comfortable on wrist?
Yeah, yeah, I find it. I noticed the heft, but the thing is, it's pretty similar to the Explorer, for example. Or yeah, I think it's very comfortable. I like it.
So you don't really feel like the weight of the gold is a problem for something you would wear all the time. You think it's no problem at all.
Mm, I don't think so. You notice it. You notice it. I think that is like thinking on the Explorer should be like 60 more grams or 70 something. You notice it, but at the same time, the President bracelet is great.
Very
It's great.
comfortable. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
very comfortable.
and when you're wearing it, do you feel like you have to baby the watch, or do you just wear it just like any other watch?
Uh, I don't baby it, but you know, when it's new, you maybe I am more conscious because the weight, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I used to wear. Well, depending on the environment, but a lot of time I wear quite casual, and as you know, Panama is quite hot. Usually short sleeve.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe on that situation, I notice it more. If I am wearing long sleeve, I really don't notice it.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, it is absolutely stunning. I mean, it's just, I mean, I could look at that watch all day long, and the folks in the chat are saying the same thing. I mean, it just absolutely stunning and looks great on your wrist. I mean, it looks like it was made for you. It really fits your wrist size perfectly.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, once I saw it for first time, I saw this model not long time ago. I think like 6 or 7 months ago, and I really like it. I tried it for first time. I think that it was in LA in November. I really like it, and I really like it. The first, to be honest, I was considering a white gold day date, but originally I was thinking on the 36. But one of the hobbies or the things that I really appreciate is the typography and that kind of thing. And once I saw these Roman numerals, I really loved it. Was the reason for getting this size.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Well, and I think that you've got about a 7.5 inch wrist, right?
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
I
yeah.
think I think that's the perfect size for you. I think I'm kind of in between because my wrist is about 7.25 inches and a little bit bigger than that in the summertime. So I could go with a 36 or probably a 40. I could probably do either, and I'm going to try both when I get to the point where I'm considering one. I'm going to really try them both on and make a final decision. But I don't think you can go wrong with either one.
No, I was thinking more in the 36 originally because it's the classic size, and but really once I saw these Roman numerals, and once I learned regarding the movement and the thing, I really I also I had that. In fact, I still have a DATEJUST that I should take a decision about what to do with it, because I am thinking that I am not going to wear it again, I think. And and at that time I considered that I maybe keep both, and then a 36 and a 40. But
Let's
I don't know.
can we put the 39 mil watch next to this one?
Yeah.
So we can just compare the two of them.
Basically, are very similar. I think that in fact, basically the 39 maybe is a bit smaller.
Well, the one thing about the Explorer is it's definitely a lot more readable, a lot more legible.
Yeah.
I can tell from this shot right here that, I mean, it's just so easy to read
Yeah.
the time on that one.
Definitely. Definitely. But that was one of my concerns regarding the date,
Mm-hmm.
because I really had a very bad experience with the Daytona. I got it because the AD gave me it, but I really don't like it, and but I don't know what happened. I think that is between the texture of the dial and the texture of the hands, and nevertheless the date doesn't have loom. I really find it honestly very readable. Of course, not the same as
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Explorer. That
Can
maybe the Explorer
you
could be.
raise both of them up a little bit so they're in the middle of the screen? Yeah, up higher, a little bit. Oh, right there. Perfect, perfect. Yeah, now we're really seeing them. Yeah, I think they're both fantastic watches. I really do. I don't think you can go wrong with either one of those. Those are both super watches. Those go right along with the theme of this program today, that either one of those could be classified as a super watch, meaning that you could wear that for years and years, either one of them, for years and years, and not be disappointed.
Yeah, but as I was telling, really, if really I had to choose one watch, and I will get the Explorer. If really I had to get one, because sometimes I go to Mexico or
Mm-hmm.
to Honduras or something
Yes,
like that, I
yes.
wear with it without any problem. I went to Turkey wearing this watch with any problem, but with the date, I will be not so
No, no, no. Yeah,
comfortable.
absolutely.
And
Very.
apart of that, if it happens, if really you have very bad luck, well, the price of this one is not the same as the other one.
Yes,
For sure.
yes, yes. Well, you definitely, with the Day-Date, you definitely want to make sure you have insurance coverage that would cover it when you're traveling. You definitely want
Yeah.
to make sure because that's
Yeah, but
one you don't want to take the loss on that one.
yeah, but here we have a problem in Panama. The to have the specific insurance for luxury things is ultra expensive.
So
It's but
it's
ultra
really
expensive.
not it's really not affordable.
No, unless you are expecting to have your watch stolen like once every 5 years or 6 years,
Uh-huh.
uh,
It's just not
it's
worth it. Yeah.
it's not worth. I think the prices in US are much more different, and I don't know what is the reason, because maybe it's something, insurance
Well,
companies.
maybe they're stolen more often down there, and that's the reason. Yeah, if they got to pay
Yeah,
out.
but I don't have that. I don't have that impression. I think that probably is thing that the market is small or something. I don't know,
Yeah.
but I get a quote for the insurance, and it was very expensive, very expensive, very expensive.
So yeah, you've got two fantastic watches there. Now, of the two, which one would you say is more comfortable on wrist? Of the two.
Hmm. As comfortable?
Which one is the
If I,
most comfortable of the two? Which one would you say is more comfortable?
difficult to say, because
I know.
if they had the same weight, I would say that the president. But with the difference in weight, I would say that pretty similar. But if you really want something from my point of view, the most comfortable would be a Jubilee stainless steel from my point of view.
Oh, I agree. I agree. The Jubilee bracelet is hard to beat as far as comfort goes.
As comfortable, I would say the most, if I had to choose one, I would choose this one as the comfortable.
Yeah. Oh,
They
yeah.
just 36.
Now that one's that one is a 36.
Yeah, 36. Jubilee is.
You know, that watch right there could also be a contender for our a super watch. That absolutely that could be a contender because that one's got lume also. That is a beautiful watch too. You know, you always pick gorgeous watches.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, I wouldn't get this one to Honduras, for example, or to Turkey or to Mexico. It's more flashy. It's,
Yeah.
So fluted.
Yeah. So
it's more
exactly. So you would want to wear the Explorer.
Yeah, that is the thing. But as comfortable from my point of view, without doubt, this one.
Yeah.
It has the problem that you usually say regarding that you don't have the
micro adjustments.
The micro adjustment. In this case, the size is good for me, but I assume, yeah. And the truth is, if you don't, if the size is not right, solving is a bit more difficult. I think that you have to purchase 1.25 links. To start to do things, but really, I like the hidden clasp, but yeah, it has that downside.
Yeah, well, I mean, you've got some great options there. I mean, fantastic. And Brian P. is saying, what a beautiful DATEJUST. And yours has the roulette date wheel? It goes red to black, red to black?
Yeah, it has. I don't know now what day is 15, but this 15 should be like 15th of February, probably the last time. That is the problem that I have. As I was telling the other day, I am not a collector. If something happened that I finished with this, I ended with this stock, but I think that I will.
Yeah, you need to talk to. You need to come up to Steve's party and bring some of your extra watches and talk to him. He can help you liquidate some of those watches you're not using. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Brian P. says micro adjustments would definitely be a must for wearing a watch in a climate like Panama. Yeah, I think it depends on your wrist. Some people's wrists change more often than other people's. Some people don't seem to have a problem with that. When I was younger, I didn't have as much of a problem with my wrist changing sizes as it does now. Yeah, I think as you get older, I think it's more of a problem. But yeah, I think everybody's different on that situation. But now the newer DATEJUSTs, some of them have the micro adjustments, and they don't have the hidden clasp bracelet. Yes, some of them. So
what I can say is my experience regarding the clasp adjustment. I think that the Easy Link extension of this one on the Explorer or in the Daytona, I have only used it flying in an airplane. While I was in the airplane, it was the only time that I had the feeling that I needed to extend it, to be honest. That is the only.
But that bracelet has 3 micro adjustments there in the clasp also.
Yeah.
That you can use.
But I've never had the feeling that I needed to change it.
Yeah.
The only time was in the airplane. In the airplane in very long flights, like going to Europe or something like that. At that time I really had the feeling that I would be more comfortable extending the Easy Link.
Yeah. All right, well, Carlos, thank you very much for calling in and giving us this report. This is very instructive. I always like to hear from people that are actually using their watches and have some real on-the-ground experience with these watches. I mean, this is valuable feedback for other people that are thinking about getting one of these watches. So thank you so much for calling in. Anything else you'd like to say before I let you go?
No, yes. Thank you for the show, and as always, I really enjoy with it.
Very good. And
Okay.
is there any chance you're going to make it to Steve's next party?
Really, I don't think so. I don't
Okay.
think so. I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I am considering going to the Indy 500. That is something that I am considering to do it, but no, I don't think so.
Okay.
Don't
Well,
think so, because I am
if you do change your mind and you want to come, then you're very welcome. We would love to have you.
Yeah, but if I take the decision regarding the stock, I will really contact Steve to check what could be the thing.
Good. Very good. By the way, I think if you're thinking about selling some of your pieces, including the Daytona, I think the sooner you do it, the better, because I've heard some reports that inventory more stock might be coming in to ADs, and this waiting list thing might be going away. So if that happens, you'd better off selling now than later.
By the way,
because we know
by the way, just some information for the people. Usually, people, I think, that get surprised about the size of the Daytona. Really, the size of the Daytona is the same as the size of the Explorer 39.
Yes.
Really, the same size.
Yes.
You have the feeling that it's the same.
Yes.
Really, is the same size.
Yes.
If you look at it, the crown is a bit bigger, but really is exactly the same. And I think that is a bit more tall, but very big. And you have the feeling that basically is you have the same feeling wearing both watches, the Explorer and the Daytona.
Exactly. And if you don't need the stopwatch functionality, the Explorer is much easier to read.
Yeah, definitely. For me, honestly, without glasses, Daytona is unreadable.
Yeah,
unreadable.
That's why I sold my Day-Date with the silver dial. Yeah. My Day-Date had the silver dial, and there wasn't that much contrast. And it just got to where I had to have my glasses on to read it, and so I said, no, I got to let this go. But
in fact, for sure, for using the chronograph, for sure, I will need glasses, and sometimes also just to read the Daytona, sometimes it's not like an instinctive glance that you see it and have an idea of the time. Sometimes I have it's a bit messy.
Yeah,
very nice, but messy, and really is a complication that I don't need.
Yeah.
But fortunately, it seems that I am not going to lose much money with this, as I purchase it as the AD at the price. But
I would say, if you're thinking about getting rid of it sooner rather than later, take my word for it, because once they start becoming available at the ADs, the prices are going to drop. So
it makes.
We'll see what happens. We don't know for sure, but we'll see. Anyway, thank you very much for calling in.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you again soon.
Bye-bye.
All right, there you go, folks. That's what we call a live report from the field from a gentleman that has some super watches and gave you his opinion. I mean, this is real, folks. This isn't somebody who collects watches and doesn't use them. This gentleman actually uses these watches, and he's the real deal, and you heard it from him. So I don't have to add to that. That was absolutely fantastic. Let's see here. Wonderful watches caller. She will want to bring the Daytona to the Indy 500. There you go. Not if he's having trouble reading it. I really think that's a good discussion, because we were talking in the beginning of the show about practicality, about how usable these watches are. So it's really interesting that Carlos looks at it that way too, that's one of the big things, one of his big concerns is the usability of these watches, how practical they really are. That was a great segment with Carlos, says Paris Pat. Absolutely. I love bringing in folks that have real-world experience. Let me know if there's anybody else in the chat that wants to come in, that wants to Skype in just like Carlos did and give us a report. I love getting reports like that from the field, because that's as real as it gets, folks. He's sitting there with the watches, okay? How much more real can you be than that? Man. That's about as real as that stunner right there. Look at that stunner. Carlos doesn't live in his parents' basement. He's the real deal. He's in motion and getting things done, says our Wags. Our Wags in the house, and our Wags is getting things done too. Absolutely. As a matter of fact, he's getting his equipment and gear together so that he's going to be able to do some live shows with us and join us on the broadcast. So, folks, I don't know how much more I can add to that. I mean, that is pretty amazing. What does everyone think about the 2018 Omega Seamaster Professional as a super watch? The only issue that I have, ID guy, with some of the Omegas is the thickness of them. If you don't have a problem with the thickness of that watch for your use case, if you don't have shirt cuffs, tight shirt cuffs like the one I have on right now that you've got to get the watch under, if that's a non-issue for you, I think the Omegas are very good value for what you get, and I think they're stunning. I like some of the Rail Masters. There's several of them that I like, but you got to think about that issue of, is it going to work for you, as far as, do you wear shirt cuffs that you might have a problem with that thing coming under? So, Paris Pat, I love the Omega Seamaster Professional 300mm drive diver. Okay, let's pull up a couple of those. Let's take a look at the Omega. Oh, by the way, speaking of cool-looking watches, check out this Patek. We were looking at that the other day. Stunning. Okay, let's pull up an Omega. Seamaster. And let's pull up the Seamaster 300. Let's see what we can do here. And fortunately for all of us, Steve is an Omega dealer, and he'll give you a deal if you mention the channel. If you tell him you subscribe to the channel, he'll give you a deal. That's a cool looking watch right there. I'm here to tell you. I'm here to tell you. Talk about legibility. Oh, this one's titanium. No wonder I like it. Whoa. That is pretty freaking cool. I'm going to add that to my watch list. Let's see what they say about this piece. Original box, original papers. Let's go through all the photos before we dig into the details. I love that dial. That is cool. That's a very clean looking watch. I wonder how thick that is. I wonder how thick it is. Doesn't look too bad. I'm sure it's not as slender as those watches we just saw that Carlos has. Those are 12 mils. I'm sure this is thicker than that, but this could be a contender. All right, let's look at the stats here on this puppy. 41 mil. Let's see here. Folks, can you all let me know in the chat if you know how thick this thing is? Because I don't think they're going to tell us here. This really bugs me that they don't give that stat. That should be on every listing for every watch. Should be how thick the watch is. To me, that's as important as the case size, or more so. But that's a stunner. Let me know in the chat what you guys think about that puppy. What do you guys think about that? Absolutely, their cases go up in thickness, which is quite a shame. Then again, I'm even fine with the thickness of my deep sea James Cameron. Yeah, it depends on how you wear it also. Craig, do you like blue or black dial in the Omega Seamaster? I'll tell you what, that one we just looked at, I think is stunning with the blue. Stunning. You could be a Patek man, Craig. Yeah, I could, but I don't want to have to wind it up every time I put it on the wrist. That's the problem. That's the problem. I love that Omega Seamaster titanium. Yeah, it's pretty amazing looking. I think the watch is about 14 millimeters thick, but it does have a boxed crystal, so that adds to the height. ID guy. Paris says stunning. Yeah, I think we stumbled across a good-looking watch there. Let's see what else we can find in the Seamaster. Okay, here's one with a black dial. I'll bring it up and then I'll show you. There's one with a black dial, and I'm sure that one's stainless steel. Original box, original papers. And we'll go ahead and add this to our watch list here, because we can. I mean, very clean. I like the fact that there's no date. I think that's stunning, the fact that there's no date. Just very clean looking. Let's go through the photos here. I'll tell you though, I still harken back to this puppy here. Just think that's a good looking watch. A good looking watch, brand new for less money, and just stone cold accurate, and a GMT function, and 12 mils thick. I know people are going to say, oh, it's a quartz. Yeah, but it's a 9F. It's a pretty awesome movement. Okay, let's see what else there is in the way of a Omega. You know, some of the Bond watches were smaller and were thinner. Some of the older ones. Here's that one that was like an homage to the older watches. This is kind of cool. That's kind of cool looking. I wonder how thin that one is. I'm going to add this to the watch list just because I can. And let's see if there's any data on that. Well, first of all, let's look at the photos. I kind of like something different like that. It's kind of different looking. Omega makes a lot of different watches. I like the case shape on that, the lug shape. I think it's classy looking. Does anybody know how thick that one is? You see, that does not have the display back. It might be thinner. That might lay flatter on the wrist, folks. Can we get some data on that one, somebody? I'm sure they're not going to give it here. Brand new, 2018, without any signs of wear. What is the size of it, folks? What is the size? 39 mils, which is great. It's a great size. They're not going to give us the thickness. Check out the... Craig, what is the height of your friend Paul's red substance? It says tall. I don't know. Might try to get him to measure it, but I don't know. That's a good question. But it looked very nice and flat on his wrist. It looked good on wrist. All right, I'm going to do the 2254.50. 2254.50 Omega. Okay, so that is clearly a less expensive watch. Here's one at Crown and Caliber that is let's see. Oh, this is 2264.50. I searched 2254. Come on. Why are you giving me the wrong hits? They're showing me 64. I wanted 54. Come on here, guys. Why are you changing what I want? 54. 2254. Here we go. Okay. Let's see here. Let's look at this one. $2,600 here in the USA. We'll go ahead and add it to the watch list. Tell you, I like the looks of some of those others better. I just do. They're cleaner looking. But I mean, this isn't. I mean, this wouldn't be a deal killer. But I just, to me, some of those others looked a little cleaner without the helium escape valve and all that stuff. Let's see if they have any stats on this one. This is from the year 2000. 41 mil. Yeah, they don't give the... but I tell you, clearly you can get some deals on some older Omegas. Check out the Omega Seamaster 1948 that came out last year as a 70th anniversary. Isn't that the one we just looked at? Omega. 70th. Let's see what we got here. Well, I'm not sure what the model number is on that, so I'm not able to bring that up. But I mean, I think with these Omegas, I think you really just have to go see, touch, and feel them. When I bought my Omega, I bought a Seamaster 120 new, and you know, I just handled it and tried it on and all that, and it fit nice. Now that one was a quartz because I wanted something that I could take off the wrist for 2 or 3 days at a time. I was rotating it with the Day-Date at the time. And I wanted something that I wouldn't have to worry about, that I wouldn't have to restart every time, you know, that I put it on my wrist. So that's why I bought the quartz. But that was a nice watch. The new Seamaster Professional Ceramic Blue is my personal favorite. You get a ton of watch for your money. I hear you, Brian P. And plus, Steve will work a deal with you. The anniversary 48s are gorgeous. Can you get me a model number, ID guy, so I can pull it up? See if I can pull it up here. Here we go. I'll pull it up by 1957 Trilogy. Oh, here's a Railmaster Trilogy. That could be cool. Yeah, look at this puppy. Yeah. That's similar to that other one we looked at. That could be a wear all the time watch, I think. It's probably not terribly thick. It's only 38 mils, which is good. I wonder how thick that one is. Does anybody know? They're not going to tell us here. Let's see here. Yeah, they don't tell us diddly squat here. That Railmaster 1957 Trilogy, 38 mils, folks. Can you tell me how thick that one is? I think the Seamaster 1948 will give you some results. Okay, let's try that. Seamaster 1948. Wow. Some of these are on straps. Are they Seamaster 1948? Is this the watch you're talking about? I don't... Yeah. Yeah, I think I'd go with one of those other models we were looking at that's much more legible, much more readable, and on a bracelet. I mean, that's an interesting watch, but no, I don't think I'd... I think there are other better options. Let's see. I wish these companies would give us some damn case height measurements. Yeah. What do you think about the Omega Speedmaster Dark Side of the Moon? I'm not a fan of the Speedmasters. I wouldn't go there myself, but if you like it, yeah, I mean, go for it. But I'm not a fan of the Speedmasters, any of them. I don't need that complication, and I don't think they're that great a watch. But that's just my thought on it. Video on 50 Fathoms is super nice. Yeah, the 50 Fathoms, they make some nice watches. I like the one that Dudley has, the model that he has. Carlos's collection is out of this world. When you brought out the Daytona, I almost fell out of my chair. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And he says he's not a collector. Seamaster 1948 is not a vintage watch. Type in Omega Seamaster 1948. I think I thought that was what I just showed. Let's try it again. Omega Seamaster 1948. Okay, that's what I just searched. And this is what I'm getting. I'm just not getting, I'm not getting the last year's model. So it'd help if I could get a model number. Let's see here. Carlos might not be a collector, but he sure knows how to have an amazing watch rotation. Brian P. in the house. Absolutely. And he's got at least 3 finalists in the Superwatch competition. He's got the DATE 40, which is a clear finalist. He's got the Explorer, which is a clear finalist, and the DATEJUST 36 with a Jubilee bracelet. All three of those are finalists in the Superwatch category. All three of them. I gotta say, he's on it. But I'm getting hungry, so folks, let me know if there are any other questions in the chat. I'm gonna call this one. I'm gonna call this one a successful broadcast. We've got some finalists in the Superwatch competition. For sure. Oh, by the way, excuse me. Well, cut to this while I'm yawning. It's not the case, honestly. Once I purchased a new watch, I rarely use the old ones, but I do not take the decision on selling. Yeah. Yeah, but you might want to do that, Carlos. You might want to liquidate some of those while the market is still hot. And invest it and buy yourself some Bitcoin, Carlos. But anyway, and this is not financial advice, but anyway, somebody asked me about Bitcoin again, a subscriber. They're actually buying some Bitcoin. ID guy says, am I weird for wanting a birth year 14060 as my one and only super watch? If it meets the criteria of a super watch and will get the job done for you, no, that's not weird at all. But make sure it will get the job done for you. Craig, I'd like to ask you about waterproofness of Rolex. AD told me that Yacht Master's better waterproof than DATEJUST. Oh, no. You're not going to have any problem. You're not going to have any problem with a DATEJUST. Take that puppy in the water. Don't even think about it. Absolutely wear that thing in the water. No problem at all. Okay, so somebody asked me about Bitcoin, and they asked me when it's going to go down and when it's going to go up. And I told them, I said, nobody knows when it's going to go up and when it's going to go down. Almost all of us know it will go up at some point and it will go down at some point. But we don't know when, and we don't know how far down, and we don't know how far up. So in other words, we don't know diddly. So with me, I don't worry about it because I'm just holding. So I don't care if it takes a nosedive down. Now, if it goes low enough, I'll just buy some more. And I don't care how high up it goes because I'm not going to sell it either. So for me, I don't really care what it does. As Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, says, I value my wealth in Bitcoin, not in the fiat that it's worth at any given moment. Because long term, I think the Bitcoin is going to be valuable. And the reason that I think that is there will only be, we've already talked about this, there will only be 21 million Bitcoin ever produced. And each Bitcoin is divisible down to 100 million units. So if a Bitcoin gets to be worth $1 million, one Bitcoin, then one Satoshi, which is 1/100 millionth of a Bitcoin, one Satoshi would be worth 1 penny, 1 cent. That's the way it was designed in the beginning, so that you could have it divisible down to a value of 1 penny, even if it was worth $1 million. Okay? So that's the thing we need to think about. We need to think about the end game here. If Bitcoin becomes widely accepted all around the world, it could become extremely valuable because it is so scarce, because there are only 21 million units. So based on that, I just want to have a bunch of them set aside so that if, and it's a big if it becomes widely accepted, widely adopted, if you will, I'm set. I'm in good stead, right? And so, but you only want to put money in it that you can afford to lose, right? So surplus money, if you will. So there's that. Great show today. Blue says screw down crown and screwed in back. They are both excellent waterproof watches as long as the gaskets are greased. Yeah, I think you're good to go on the waterproofing. I never even thought twice about any of my Rolexes going in the water with them. I mean, it's just, I didn't even think twice about it. No problem at all. I think that I will sell the Datejust 36 and the Daytona to have some mental sanity. I don't blame you, Carlos, for getting out while we're at the top of the market. I might even talk to you about the Datejust 36. I might even have some interest in that myself. That's a heck of a watch. I don't even need it. But that's a heck of a watch. Let's see. Any Rolex would survive longer than any of us in the water. Yeah. That's not a bad idea. Consolidation makes you think clearer and love the pieces you have even more. I agree. One or two stellar watches, stunners, is more than enough for any gentleman to have, I think. What if they produce more Bitcoin? Why do they only have limited? They're not going to produce more. That's all built into the whole structure of it. That's one of the key reasons why it was brought forward in the beginning, why it was created, was to have something that was limited, because the fiat money is not. They can just print more whenever they want, and they can do what they say quantitative easing, right? So Bitcoin is specifically designed to be limited, and they're not going to change that algorithm and make it so that it's more. It's not going to happen. They won't be able to get consensus to do that. So I wouldn't worry about that. Let's see. I got a lot of information about Bitcoin on my downloads page. There's a link in the description of this video. Click on that. Go to the downloads page on my website and take a look. What is the Bitcoin numerical value of 1? I don't know what you mean, Brian. 1 Bitcoin? What's the value of 1 Bitcoin? Is that what you're asking? Right now it's a little over $4,000. I'm not sure what you're asking. 4,000 US dollars. It's a little more than that right now. AD told that the Yacht has triple lock, and that's why Yacht better than Datejust. I wouldn't worry about it. I mean, I would buy the one I like. They're both going to be waterproof to any kind of reasonable depth that you might swim. Now, if you're a professional diver, then you might want to get an actual diving watch, actual, thing that's designed for diving. But no, just swimming and all that, I wouldn't worry about it. There's too many other things to worry about in life than your Rolex leaking. It's not going to do it. It's going to hold up fine. Craig is going full 80s. There you go. Colon in the house. Is that a full Windsor or a half Windsor knot? This is a full Windsor. I do a full Windsor all the time. I think it looks more balanced. I've always done that for as long as I've been wearing ties, and I think it works. They cannot produce more Bitcoin. It's limited, and more cannot be generated. Yeah, it would be very difficult for them to change the rate of production and all of that. It would take a lot of consensus. It's not going to happen. They're not going to do it. Now somebody might split off a fork of Bitcoin and do whatever they want. That's called an altcoin. There's a ton of those. There's thousands of altcoins, right? There's only one Bitcoin. There's Bitcoin, and then there's all the crap, all the garbage out there. That's how that works. Worried about Rolex water resistance. Just read the story about the murder of Ronald Platt, okay? I was joking, referring to a Craig as a possible new denomination of the Bitcoin, like a Satoshi. Oh, okay. Craig. Craig wears today as the Prince of Wales without intending to insult. Here's the thing. We've talked about wearing clothing that will survive the test of time. If you buy relatively conservatively designed clothing, now this particular sport coat is not a perfect example because there's some padding in the shoulder. It'd be better if it did not have any padding, if it was just a straight shoulder, right? That'd be more timeless, if you will. And these lapels could be a little bit narrower, just a little bit. But this is a typical Oxford. This is how they did their lapels for many, many, many years. And they'll still make them like this for you. But you can get them with the thinner lapels too, the more modern lapel. But bottom line is, if you get it relatively conservative design, then you can get away with wearing it many years later. I mean, this coat is about 25 years old, okay? So if you get the latest fashion, like right now the sport coats they're wearing have real thin lapels and the coats are real short. I mean, they look goofy. That's the style right now this year and maybe last year. That won't last, okay? That will go out of style. And so whatever money you invested in that type of sport coat or suit or whatever, you better get a lot of use out of it right now while it's the in thing, because it ain't going to be the in thing 5 years from now. I'll tell you that right now. I think that pattern is literally called Prince of Wales. I don't know. This is Oxford. This is 100% silk. And you notice when you get a high-end sport coat, you notice how the plaid, you notice how it continues onto the arm, how they match it, and I can't really see what I'm doing here, what I'm pointing at, but see how it continues past the seam. See what I mean? How they match it. That's a sign of high-end tailoring. Yeah, Jay Sykes, and that's what they're doing these days. They're doing the thin lapel and all that. Here, I'll pull up a picture. Let me pull up a picture. I'll show you what I mean. I'll show you what I mean. Here's a perfect example of trendy, and when it loads in, I'll cut to it so you can see. Okay, here you go. Oh, come on, I pick up these damn pop-ups. Get that off of there. Okay, so here you go. Here's this guy. First of all, he's got the grunge look. You know, he hasn't bothered to shave. And he's got his shirt untucked. You know, the untucked shirt, that's cool, right? He's a hipster. His shirt is untucked, right? Now, look how short that sport coat is. Look how short it is. The sport coat should come down to about the end of his thumb, right? When you curl your fingers up, it should sit right in the curl of your fingers if the sport coat is the correct length, right? Notice how short that one is. Notice it's about 4 inches shorter than that. And notice the lapels are real narrow, okay? To me, if I saw somebody dressed like that, I'd be like, it looks like he's wearing a little boy's jacket. It looks like he's wearing a jacket he got from the boys department. It doesn't even fit, okay? And it looks goofy. And I can tell you right now, 10 years from now, it's still going to look goofy. So, yeah, I'll pass on that look, okay? We won't go there. Skinny ties were the thing in the early mid-'60s, and then they went out as quickly as they came in, and now they're back in again. Yeah, exactly. And the trendy stuff like that comes in and out of fashion. Like the real wide lapels they had in the 70s, those went out of fashion too, right? You want your lapel to be kind of in between. You don't want it to be too wide. You don't want it to be too narrow. And then it'll last, right? Also avoid the skinny pants. Yeah, Exactly. I mean, and they don't look good. They don't look good. At least in this part of the country, Craig's coat is a Glen pad pattern. There you go. I wouldn't hire that guy if he came in for an interview, Jay says. Nice point on the jacket, Craig. That is going out of style, won't last. I don't think it will, and I think it looks goofy, and it's not practical. It's not, I mean, they have to make the pockets less deep. They have to, it's not going to even cover your butt. I mean, it's just not, no. There's a reason why clothing was designed a certain way and was that way for many, 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 many years, because it works. It's functional. So there's all that. All right, folks, I'm hungry, and let's see, you want a timeless suit style, just look at whatever Frank Sinatra was wearing. Good point. Look at Cary Grant. Look how Cary Grant dressed. If you dress like Cary Grant in the movie North by Northwest, let's pull up a picture of Cary Grant. Let's pull up Cary Grant. Okay, and let's see how he used to dress. Okay, here we go. Here we go, folks. I'm not making this stuff up. See, there he is wearing like a tweed jacket. Look at the lapels. Look at the lapels on that jacket. Okay? And you tell me how similar they are to the lapels I have right now. Okay? There's me. And there's Cary Grant. You tell me how similar they are. I'm not making this up. You guys think I'm making this up. Okay, let's pull up another one. Trying to find one with him wearing a suit. Let's see here. Oh, this is great. I think this is from North by Northwest. Look at that suit. I mean, are you kidding me? I mean, you just dress like that. Look at the length of it. Look at his thumb. Look where his thumb is. Okay, what did I tell you? Look where his thumb is. Okay? And look at the length of the jacket. And look how much fabric's in those pants. That's from North by Northwest. So you just watch that movie, North by Northwest, and you dress like him. Here's another one. Oh, that's not a very clear picture. Yeah, not clear enough. But look at the, I think he was wearing Ray-Bans. Look at the, oh boy. That's a great movie. North by Northwest with Cary Grant. Let's see what else we can find here. All right. Now this one he's wearing peak lapels. He's wearing a double-breasted, which, yeah, that's super cool too. I mean, if you want to wear some peak lapels with a double-breasted suit like that, abso-positively, you could wear that today. You could wear that exact same suit today, and people would gasp. They'd be like, oh, wow, look at that. And here's another picture from North by Northwest. We've already looked at that one. Let's see if we can find one more example, and then I will rest my freaking case. All right, here we go. Let's see if we can pull this up. What's happening here? Oh, it's Pinterest. Oh, it's Pinterest. Okay, let's cancel that. Okay. Yeah, that looks good. I've got a suit that looks almost identical to that. It's almost the same pattern and everything. All right, let's see what else we got here. Oh boy. Oh, that was from Charade. Yeah, Charade is a great movie too. You got to check that one out too. This looks like another three-piece suit. Or no, that's a sweater. I'm sorry. He's got a V-neck sweater on with it. But look at the lapels. Look at the lapels. Okay? They're almost identical to the one that I have on right now. Okay? Let's see if we can find anything else. Here's another picture from the cornfield in North by Northwest. Not a very clear picture, though. Funny stuff. All right, folks. 60 years ago, whatever, 70 years ago, whenever the heck the stuff was still in style. Who the heck is this? Oh, this is Bond, James Bond. Now this one, he is getting to the little narrower lapels, right? So this is a more trendy, okay, setup, but still looks pretty good. Anyway, let's see here. Let's see. Let me catch up on the double-breasted suits. Some people still wear double-breasted suits. They still look great. His shirt is so baggy, looks silly, like a dustbin. I like when they show in that movie in North by Northwest where he's shaving or something. You can see his shirt. It almost comes down to his knees. It's like a Brooks Brothers shirt, like back in the day, the way they made them with all that fabric, and they're real long. I think that's cool as you know what. That jacket in my office would get some not so good double. Oh, man, if you dress like that, they'd think you were all that. Good fashion never goes out of style. R. Wags. Not Cary Grant McRae. Why would you want to wear such a big and baggy clothes that you look fat even if you're not? He didn't look fat. I don't think Cary Grant looked fat. I think he looked great. I don't know. Do you ever wear cuffs on trousers? Yes, a lot of my trousers have cuffs. Yes, a lot of my khakis have cuffs. A lot of my suits have cuffs. Not all, but most. Most have cuffs. Really, do men still wear wigs? Oh, I don't know about wigs. Top hats. Yes, absolutely. It's called style because it isn't set in stone. There you go. Yes, certainly looking sloppy is not being well dressed. Are wags in the house condemning looking sloppy? Not what I'm saying, huh? Only Justin Bieber can pick up supermodels in sweatpants. Hey, if they think you've got money, it's okay to have sweatpants on. They'll still go for you. Chicks dig cash. Yeah. That will never change. Never change. All right, folks, I'm going to wrap this puppy up and I'm going to eat something. That's what I'm going to do. And you all are in motion, making things happen. That's the name of that tune. Everybody making things happen. Check out North by Northwest if you've never watched it. It's a great movie. And you'll see he dresses nice. He's in advertising. He's in the advertising business. He says, in advertising, there's no such thing as a lie. There's just expedient exaggeration. That's what he says. Around my parts, the only people who wear suits are the accused. Love the style, though. May have to dust off the old burgundy suit. Carlos says, thank you for the show. Well, thank you for dropping in. Absolutely. Thank you for dropping in. And that'll be it. Hey, click subscribe and click that little bell. Click the little bell so you'll get notifications next time.